Before we start the story, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. Enjoy the story. Everyone. Eliza rushed into the women's restroom at the large event center. She had just a few minutes before her friend arrived and was mentally cursing herself for drinking so much soda earlier. While adjusting her hair in front of the mirror, she heard a strange sound coming from one of the stalls next to her. "Hey, can you pass me some toilet paper?" Eliza froze. "Wait, what?" She looked around confused, as if the restroom had magically turned into a men's room without her noticing. "Excuse me, the toilet paper ran out here. Can you pass me some?" Eliza blinked. "Do you realize you're in the women's restroom, right?" "Yeah, now I do. And that doesn't bother you?" "What bothers me is being out of toilet paper." Eliza suppressed a laugh. "Oh, so it's okay to invade a women's restroom, but running out of toilet paper is the problem. Priority parties, huh? Look, I'm already embarrassed enough. Can you just pass me the paper, please?" She crossed her arms even though she knew he couldn't see. No. From the other side, she heard an impatient sigh. "What do you mean, oh?" "Exactly what you heard. Why would I help a random stranger who invaded the women's restroom?" "Random?" he repeated, outraged. "Ma'am, I just need paper, not an FBI interrogation." She smiled, enjoying his impatience. "I think you should learn a lesson from this. Maybe some time in there will help you reflect on your life choices." "What?" "Maybe next time you'll pay more attention to the signs before entering, huh?" "Oh my God, you're giving me a lecture while I'm stuck in here." Eliza laughed out loud. "I'd call it more of a social intervention." There was silence on the other side. Then he took a deep breath and responded with a tired voice. "Fine, I'll make you a deal. If you give me the paper, I'll give you a VIP ticket to Oliver Blake's show." Eliza narrowed her eyes. "What?" "That's right, a VIP ticket with back access, but only if you help me now." She crossed her arms again. This is starting to sound like emotional blackmail. It is emotional blackmail. Ah, the honesty. At least 1 point for you. She pretended to think about it. "But how do I know this ticket is real?" "Because I'm desperate." Eliza bit her lip to hold back a laugh. Still not sure if it's a good deal. MAAM, for the love of God." She heard a sound of paper being crumpled, and a few seconds later, a ticket slid under the door. She bent down and picked it up. Looks real." "Because it is. Now give me the paper." She tore off a piece of the roll and threw it under the door. "Here you go, Your Majesty of Desperation." "Finally. Can you do me a favor? You go out first." Eliza raised an eyebrow. "What if we both leave at the same time? It's going to look suspicious." She laughed. "It already looks suspicious, my dear. Just go already." "Wow, so cranky. Do you need a hug? I need you to leave." Eliza rolled her eyes but unlocked the door and adjusted her bag. She stepped out of the bathroom, still laughing at the situation. She put the ticket in her purse and walked down the hallway, but then something went wrong. Behind her, she heard a buzz of voices. She turned around, and there he was, the guy from the stall coming out of the women's bathroom, adjusting a cap. Then a girl's eyes widened. "Hey, isn't that? Oh my God, Oliver Blake." That was enough to start the chaos. What was he doing in the women's bathroom? Who is this girl that went out first? Must be his new girlfriend. Another person pointed at Eliza. Oliver froze, clearly regretting leaving so quickly. Eliza stood frozen in the middle of the hallway. This can't be happening, but it was. The women's bathroom, which should have been a peaceful refuge, was now the epicenter of a scandal. She felt a shiver run down her spine. The eyes turned toward her as if she were holding a neon sign flashing guilty. Oliver was still there, trying to hide under his cap, as if that would be enough to disguise one of the most famous men on the planet. A hysterical scream echoed through the theater, and then the chaos began. Girls pulled out their phones, flashes exploded down the hallway, and the sound of people shouting Oliver's name made rational thought impossible. "It's him! Take a picture, quick! Who is this girl?" Eliza felt her brain melt. "Run!" Oliver grabbed her wrist and started pulling her through the crowd. "What?" was all she could shout before being dragged into the chaos. Oliver made his way through the fans and pushed through a side door, entering the backstage of the theater. Eliza tripped over her own feet, almost falling, but managed to regain her balance just in time. "Hey!" she protested, pulling away. "Who do you think you are, dragging me like that?" Oliver locked the door behind them, breathing heavily. "You wanted me to leave you there?" "Yes," she exclaimed. "That way maybe I'd have a chance to explain that I have nothing to do with this." "Oh sure, Because that crowd would listen to you patiently, right? He replied sarcastically. Eliza huffed. Great. Now I'm officially the girl who got caught leaving the bathroom with a pop star. How wonderful. Oliver scratched his neck, clearly frustrated with the situation too. This isn't my fault. You were the one who took forever to leave first. Oh no. Eliza crossed her arms. Don't put this on me. You're the one who decided to take a tour inside the women's bathroom. I was stuck, and I helped you. They stared at each other for a moment, both huffing. Then someone knocked on the door. Oliver, are you in there? Oliver closed his eyes for a moment, clearly cursing the universe. Damn it. Eliza frowned. Who is it? My manager. The door opened, and a woman wearing sunglasses and a perfectly tailored dress walked in, accompanied by an assistant. She glanced at Oliver, then at Eliza, and squinted as if already getting a headache. I really hope there's a plausible explanation for what just happened. Eliza shrank back. Do you want to start, or should I? She murmured to Oliver. He sighed. It was a misunderstanding. I ended up in the wrong bathroom and how does this girl fit into this? The manager pointed at Eliza. I just wanted to use the bathroom in peace, she exclaimed, throwing her hands up. The manager massaged her temples. Great, this is all over social media now. Eliza's eyes widened. What? The assistant showed her a phone, and there it was, a video with thousands of views of Oliver coming out of the women's bathroom, followed by pictures of her right behind. The post title, Oliver Blake seen leaving the bathroom with mystery girl. Eliza felt the blood drain from her face. What? Oliver grabbed the phone from the assistant, read the comments, and sighed. Oh great, now they're saying it's a secret relationship. I don't even know you. Try telling that to the internet. Eliza wanted to scream. How is this a secret relationship? How do people jump to these conclusions so fast? Oliver tossed the phone to the manager. So now what? She sighed. Now we have a plan. Eliza raised an eyebrow. We do? The manager smiled. If you're seen with Oliver in public just as friends, we can change the narrative before it turns into a bigger scandal. Eliza crossed her arms. How exactly? The manager adjusted her glasses. You two can be seen having a friendly dinner. You and anyone else you want to bring. This will change the story and stop ridiculous rumors from spreading. Eliza blinked. Wait, you want me to have dinner with this guy? She looked at Oliver, incredulous. But why would I agree to dinner with this annoying guy? Oliver narrowed his eyes. Annoying? You? You almost left me to rot in that bathroom. Oh, so dramatic. You barely stayed there for 5 minutes. 5 minutes that felt like a lifetime. What an exaggeration. You've never run out of toilet paper before, have you? That's not the point. The manager sighed impatiently. Enough, Eliza huffed. I still don't see any reason to accept this ridiculous dinner. But then an idea came to her mind. Amber, her best friend, was a huge Oliver Blake fan. Her room was basically a shrine dedicated to him. She cried for a week when she missed the chance to buy tickets for his concert. If Eliza said she had the chance to go to dinner with him and turned it down, she'd probably lose her best friend status forever. She sighed. Does this dinner include real food or just a silence agreement? The manager smiled. Real food. Eliza scoffed, but she knew she couldn't pass up this opportunity for Amber. Fine, I'll go. Oliver raised an eyebrow. Really? Don't give me any reason to change my mind. The manager nodded. Great, so tomorrow night, dinner with Oliver Blake. Eliza closed her eyes, already regretting her decision. What did I get myself into? Oliver smirked. Welcome to the celebrity world. Eliza rolled her eyes. Definitely too late to back out now. Eliza was on the phone with her best friend Amber, while staring at her reflection in the mirror. Say that again. Amber practically screamed on the phone. I'm having dinner with Oliver Blake. What? Eliza pulled the phone away from her ear before she lost her hearing. Are you trying to make me deaf or what? Eliza, how did you not tell me this sooner? Because I'm still trying to figure out how I ended up in this situation. Amber gasped. And you're complaining? I'd give my soul for a dinner with him. Eliza sighed. Okay, calm down. Do you want to come with me or not? The silence lasted exactly 3 seconds. Of course I do. All right then, you're invited. But just so you know, this guy is annoying. Amber chuckled. And you're a pain, so perfect match. Shut up. Eliza and Amber entered the restaurant where the dinner would take place. The decor was way too fancy for Eliza's taste, and the waiter took them to a reserved table at the back of the room. Amber, on the other hand, was in pure bliss. This is actually happening. I'm having dinner with Oliver Blake. Yep, and I'm having dinner with the guy who walked into the women's bathroom. Feels like a dream. Amber rolled her eyes. You have no idea how much I love you for this. Great, so you can start paying for my therapy after this. Before Amber could respond, Oliver Blake showed up. He walked into the restaurant wearing a cap and sunglasses, trying to be low-key, but it was impossible not to notice a famous guy walking around like that. It looked like he was running from the cops. He approached the table and took off his sunglasses. I hope I didn't keep you waiting too long. Amber smiled so much it looked like a child on Christmas morning. No way. It's such a pleasure to meet you. Eliza crossed her arms. I can't say the same. Oliver narrowed his eyes at her. Oh, what a surprise. Amber looked back and forth between them, sensing the tension. Okay, you two clearly don't like each other. It's not my fault if he's a smug smart aleck, and it's not my fault if she's a cynical pain. The waiter appeared just in time to prevent a war from breaking out. Can I take your order? Eliza grabbed the menu. I want the most expensive dish on the menu. Oliver raised an eyebrow. You're kidding. No, you got me into this, so at least I'm going to eat well. Amber laughed nervously. I'll just have a regular dish, thank you. Oliver rolled his eyes and placed his order. Once the waiter left, Eliza and Oliver went back to staring at each other, as if they were about to fight with the utensils. Can you at least try to look happy to be here? He grumbled. Happy? I'm only here because my friend made me come. Oh, sure, because a free dinner at a fancy restaurant is such a huge punishment for you. Not everything in life can be bought with money, Oliver Blake. Says the person who ordered the most expensive dish on the menu. Eliza opened her mouth to argue, but Amber stepped in before things got even more chaotic. Okay, enough. You two sound like kids fighting over the last lollipop. Eliza scoffed. He started it. You started it. That's a lie. Oh my God, are you two going to keep this up all night? The waiter returned with the drinks, and the three of them fell silent while he served them. Once he left, Amber turned to Oliver. All right, tell me, what's it like being a worldwide star? He smiled. It's amazing, but it has its challenges. Fame can be overwhelming sometimes. Wow, I bet people must recognize you everywhere, right? Yep, even in women's restrooms apparently. Eliza almost choked on her drink. You didn't miss that chance, did you? I would never miss it. Amber laughed. Okay, now I need to know, Oliver. What's the craziest thing that's ever happened with a fan? Oliver thought for a moment, and then laughed. Well, once a fan showed up at my hotel door, pretending to be a housekeeper, trying to get into my room. Eliza widened her eyes. What? Yep, and the worst part is it almost worked, but then she tripped and dropped the breakfast tray. She was holding, so everyone realized she wasn't hotel staff. Amber laughed. Oh my God, I would never do something like that. Of course, because it's so much more normal to break into a women's restroom to get a VIP ticket, right? Eliza grabbed a piece of bread and threw it at him. You're never going to let that go, huh? Never. The dinner continued with more teasing, but something changed. The tension between them started to fade, and despite the insults, there was a playful tone to every exchange. When dessert arrived, Amber noticed what was happening and whispered to Eliza, You're liking him. Eliza almost choked on her ice cream. What? I can tell you're enjoying the fight. I hate him. Uh-huh. Oliver noticed they were whispering and looked at them suspiciously. What's going on? Nothing, Eliza answered too quickly. He narrowed his eyes. Suspicious, right. A little later, the bill arrived. Oliver reached for his wallet, but Eliza put her hand on his. I'll pay. He looked at her surprised. Really? Of course not. I just wanted to see your reaction. Oliver rolled his eyes. You're really unbearable, and you're really spoiled. Amber laughed. I never thought dinner with Oliver Blake would be this fun. Oliver gave Eliza a satisfied look. See? At least one of you thinks I'm likable. Eliza scoffed. Yeah, well, don't get used to it. When they left the restaurant, a few people were still trying to take pictures, but it wasn't anything like the chaos from the day before. Oliver put his hat and sunglasses back on, trying to go unnoticed. Well, it was a pleasure having dinner with you, Amber, he said. The pleasure was all mine. Oliver looked at Eliza. And you, try not to make my life miserable for the rest of your life. No promises, Oliver laughed. See you around then. He got into the car waiting for him, and Eliza and Amber stood there for a moment. Amber turned to her friend with a mischievous smile. You're screwed. Why? Because you two together are like a rom-com couple. Eliza crossed her arms. No way. Amber rolled her eyes. Of course not. Eliza sighed. She was definitely caught up in something she didn't know how to get out of. Eliza and Amber walked down the sidewalk after dinner, still processing everything that had happened. Amber couldn't stop smiling. I still can't believe I just had dinner with Oliver Blake. This is unreal. Eliza, on the other hand, rolled her eyes at every excited word from her friend. It was just dinner. Amber stopped walking and looked at her, incredulous. Just dinner? Just dinner? You spent the whole night arguing with one of the most famous guys in the world, and you're acting like you just went to grab a burger at the corner diner. So what? He's just a normal person. Amber sighed deeply and put her hands on Eliza's shoulders. My friend, you have no idea what you did today. You went toe-to-toe with him. You weren't impressed by his fame. So what? So he clearly liked that. Eliza scoffed. You're out of your mind. He thinks I'm unbearable. And yet he kept teasing you the whole night. Eliza opened her mouth to argue, but Amber just smiled slightly. Exactly. You don't have a comeback for that. Before she could retort, Amber's phone buzzed. She grabbed the phone and her eyes widened. Oh my God. What? We're going viral. Eliza furrowed her brow and grabbed her friend's phone. On Twitter, photos of their dinner were all over the place. Oliver Blake seen dining with mysterious girl from the bathroom. Who is she? Oliver Blake spotted with mysterious girl and another friend. Could it be a new couple? Eliza felt her stomach drop. Oh no. She kept scrolling through the timeline, each post worse than the last. The chemistry between them seemed intense. Has Oliver finally found someone who challenges him? Sources say the singer seemed very comfortable with his companion. Love at first sight? Eliza let out a frustrated scream. Is this what happens when I just want to eat in peace? Amber, on the other hand, seemed more excited than concerned. Girl, if I didn't know you, I'd say you're actually enjoying this. Eliza looked at her like she wanted to strangle her. You think I want the whole world to think I'm his girlfriend? Well, thinking about it, yes. Eliza sighed. I'm going to put an end to this rumor before it gets out of control. She grabbed her phone and started typing a tweet. I am not dating Oliver Blake. I only went to dinner because I was forced into it. Don't include me in your theories, thanks. Amber read over her shoulder. So over the top. You sound like a cancellation statement. That's exactly what I want. She hit send. 5 seconds later, the notification came. Oliver Blake liked your tweet. Eliza blinked. What? And, as if that wasn't bad enough, he replied. Forced. You seem like you were having fun. He must be kidding. Amber burst out laughing. This is amazing. He's publicly trolling you. Eliza felt a mix of anger and desperation. What did I do to deserve this? Her phone vibrated again. This time, a private message. Relax, princess. It'll blow over soon. Eliza read it 3 times before letting out a frustrated grunt. Princess. Amber bent over laughing. I love this guy. Eliza started typing a hateful reply. But then another notification popped up. A video call from an unknown number. She frowned. Who the hell is calling me at this hour? Amber peeked at the screen. Answer it. It might be important. Eliza hesitated but picked up. Hello? The screen showed a woman with her hair tied up and a serious expression. Miss Eliza? She frowned. Yes, who's this? The woman adjusted her glasses. I'm Oliver's team assistant. Eliza rolled her eyes. Oh, for goodness sake, what now? The woman cleared her throat. We need your help to control the narrative. Oh, so now you need me? Interesting. It's important to keep this from growing more than it should. Eliza crossed her arms. And what do you want me to do this time? The assistant hesitated before responding. We could arrange a casual appearance with Oliver to calm the rumors. Eliza's eyes widened. A casual appearance? Something simple, maybe a coffee. Oh, of course, because nothing's more natural than a rehearsed coffee date with a celebrity. Amber nudged Eliza with her elbow. Girl, this is going to be iconic. Eliza looked at her like she was betraying their friendship. You're enjoying this way too much, Amber smiled. Of course, I'm living my dream through you. The assistant cleared her throat. Can we count on you? Eliza took a deep breath. She could just refuse, but then she thought about Twitter, the fans, the tabloids making up crazy theories about a non-existent romance. If she did nothing, people would just keep making things up about her and Oliver. She pinched the bridge of her nose. Fine, but let it be clear this is just to put an end to the rumors. Great. We'll schedule it for tomorrow afternoon. Eliza sighed. I can't believe my life has turned into this. The call ended. Amber grabbed Eliza's shoulders and smiled. I just want to say I'm proud of you. Eliza gave her a sour look. I hate you. I know. The next day, Eliza walked into the coffee shop and saw Oliver sitting in a corner looking at his phone. She walked over and crossed her arms. This is ridiculous. He looked up and gave a half smile. Good morning to you too. Eliza sat at the table and looked around. Some people were watching them discreetly. You realize we're in the middle of a performance, right? You agreed to come because you all pressured me. Oliver laughed. Relax, we just have to be here for half an hour. Eliza sighed. Fine, let's get this over with. Oliver raised an eyebrow. You really hate me, don't you? The word isn't hate, it's tolerate in homeopathic doses. He laughed. Is that the closest to a compliment I'm going to get? Yes, get used to it. He shook his head, amused. I like a challenge. Eliza felt a shiver down her spine. She was definitely in something she didn't know how to get out of. Eliza poked the edge of her coffee cup, trying to ignore the fact that everyone in the coffee shop was discreetly trying to take pictures of her and Oliver. He, on the other hand, seemed immune to it. Do you have some problem with coffee or something? He asked, looking at her with an amused look. Eliza huffed. My problem is with this whole circus. You agreed to come. I wasn't given many options. Oliver gave a half smile. I already said we just need to pretend we're having fun. You can pretend, right? Eliza narrowed her eyes. Did you just call me fake? No, I'm saying you have a talent for sarcasm. Let's see if you can apply it to look social. She gave a forced laugh. Oh wow, you're so funny. Thanks, the first practice in front of the mirror every day. Eliza rolled her eyes and took a sip of her coffee. Okay, so what's part 2 of your genius plan? Oliver shrugged. We just smile, talk, and act like normal people. Normal people don't need to rehearse a coffee to fool the internet. He laughed. True, but I'm not exactly a normal person, am I? No, you're a walking magnet for trouble. Oliver smiled as if that was a compliment. You know, this pointless hatred of yours just makes me more curious. Eliza raised an eyebrow. Curious? Yeah, most people freak out when they meet me. You treat me like I'm a nuisance. And you like that? He smiled. Maybe. Eliza sighed and crossed her arms. Look, you may be an international star and all, but I'm not a fan. So yeah, you annoy me. Oliver rested his chin on his hand, studying her. Maybe that's why I find it interesting talking to you. Eliza rolled her eyes. Oh please, save your charm for someone who falls for that. Before he could respond, a woman appeared beside the table. Oliver! They both looked up and saw a tall brunette perfectly dressed with a smile that seemed way too rehearsed. Eliza furrowed her brow. Who's that? The woman smiled as if she hadn't heard the question. What a coincidence running into you here. Oliver let out a sigh and forced a smile. Hey, Evelyn. Eliza noticed the slight discomfort on his face. Evelyn pulled out a chair uninvited and sat down next to Oliver, completely ignoring Eliza's presence. How have you been? It's been a while. Yeah, I've been busy. I can imagine. She shot a quick look at Eliza, as if she were an unwanted bug at the table. Eliza didn't like that one bit. Hey, I'm here if anyone noticed. Evelyn smiled falsely. Oh, sorry, I thought you were just... She paused, sizing Eliza up. Well, never mind. Eliza raised an eyebrow. Wow, your disdain is so subtle I almost didn't notice. Oliver coughed as if trying to hold in a laugh. Evelyn ignored him. I heard about the scandal. The rumors are everywhere. She crossed her arms and smiled. I wonder how you're going to handle this, Oliver. Eliza felt the tension in the air. Why do you care? Evelyn looked at her like she was evaluating an object of little worth. I just found it interesting. He's never been involved in these kinds of controversies before. Oliver rolled his eyes. Evelyn, it was a misunderstanding. Of course it was. Eliza noticed the sharp tone in the woman's voice. There was definitely something between them. She crossed her arms. And what are you, his ex-girlfriend? Evelyn laughed but didn't deny it. Oh, honey, I'm much more than that. Oliver huffed. You're a headache, that's for sure. Evelyn smiled triumphantly. You never complained before. Eliza furrowed her brow. Do I really need to be here for this? Evelyn ignored her again. Well, it was nice seeing you, Oliver. She stood up, casting one last look at Eliza. Enjoy your new company. Hope it lasts. And she left. Eliza looked at Oliver. What the hell was that? He rubbed his temples. Long story. I've got time. Oliver sighed. She was my manager for years. We also had a thing. Eliza's eyes widened. So it's true? Yeah. And no, I'm not involved with her anymore. Eliza crossed her arms. Looks like she hasn't moved on. Oliver laughed without humor. Not a surprise. Eliza could tell the topic bothered him more than he wanted to admit. Well, at least now we have something in common. Oliver raised an eyebrow. What? I don't like her either. This time Oliver really laughed. Glad to know we have something in common. Eliza gave a small smirk. Let's see how long this unlikely alliance lasts. Oliver looked at her, a playful glint in his eyes. I think it'll be interesting to find out. They continued their coffee, now sharing a new connection, their mutual dislike for Evelyn. But deep down, Eliza knew this was just the beginning of their problems. And she was right. When they left the cafe, the paparazzi were waiting, and at that moment, the chaos was just beginning. Eliza didn't have time to process Evelyn's sudden appearance before leaving the cafe. As soon as they stepped onto the sidewalk, the flashes started. She blinked, trying to adjust to the sudden light, but it was too late. Oliver, look over here. Oliver, who's this girl? Is it true you're dating? Eliza felt a chill run down her spine. The coffee she just had felt like a mistake. What's going on? She hissed at Oliver. He adjusted his cap and put on his sunglasses, looking completely used to the situation. Paparazzi. Seriously? Wow, I thought they were just very enthusiastic fans. He laughed. Welcome to my world. Eliza crossed her arms. I want a refund, no returns. Before she could curse Oliver, one of the photographers got too close, and she stepped back. Oliver, can we just get out of here? Relax, just walk normally. Normally? I'm being hunted like an animal. He smiled. Looks like someone doesn't know how to handle the spotlight. Eliza shot him a look of pure hatred. Sorry I wasn't born to be followed by people with cameras. Oliver grabbed her arm, guiding her down the sidewalk like it was nothing. Follow me. As if I have a choice. The paparazzi kept shouting questions, trying to get some reaction out of Oliver. Oliver, are you confirming the relationship? Is this the same girl from dinner? Evelyn already commented on this. Did you cheat on Evelyn with this girl? Eliza's eyes widened. What? She stopped walking, staring at the reporters like they'd lost their minds. Are you kidding me? The flashes got even brighter, capturing her outraged reaction. Oliver sighed. Now you did exactly what they wanted. And what did you want me to do? He shrugged. Ignore them. Oh, sure. I'll just pretend they're not turning me into the mistress of the century. Oliver tried to hide a smile. What? It's hilarious. Eliza had to hold back from punching him. She huffed, grabbed her phone, and started typing furiously. Just to clarify, no, I'm not Oliver Blake's girlfriend. No, I'm not anyone's mistress. And no, I don't want any more coffee. She hit send with force. Oliver peeked at the screen. That's great for the tabloids. Great? Yeah. Now they'll spend the whole week talking about your anger. Eliza had to count to 10 mentally. Tell me there's a car waiting for us. There is. Oliver guided her to a black SUV parked at the corner. The driver was already waiting. She got in the back seat and let out a relieved sigh as the doors closed. I hate you. You don't. Eliza closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She couldn't believe her life had turned into this. Oliver picked up his phone and started fiddling with it, distracted. After a few minutes of silence, he looked at her. Have you ever been to one of my shows? Eliza opened one eye. Looks like you didn't listen when I said I'm not your fan. Oliver smiled. I know, but your friend is, right? Eliza furrowed her brow. What are you up to? He shrugged. I'm going to send you tickets for my show. Eliza blinked. Wait, what? Tomorrow night. Saipi tickets, you and your friend. Eliza processed that for a moment. Why? Consider it a thank you for putting up with all this mess. She narrowed her eyes. There's no catch? None. Eliza crossed her arms. You want me to go to your show? Yes. You want me to mingle with your fans? Yes. You think I'll just agree without questioning? Oliver laughed. I think your friend will convince you pretty quickly. Eliza hesitated. She knew Amber would have a fit if she refused. Fine, I'll accept. Great. Eliza looked at him suspiciously. But know that I'll be judging the whole time. Oliver smiled. Can't wait. The next day, Eliza looked at her reflection in the mirror, adjusting the outfit Amber had chosen for her. I don't know why I'm going to this. Amber appeared behind her, practically bouncing with excitement. Because I made you. Eliza rolled her eyes. I knew I'd regret asking you. Amber completely ignored that. "We have VIP access." "Yeah, and I'm being dragged into a Oliver Blake fan cult." Amber crossed her arms. "You have two choices, go and have fun, or go and be grumpy." Eliza huffed. "I bet Oliver's already laughing at me before I even get there." Amber grabbed her phone. "Actually, he just posted." She showed her the screen. Oliver had posted on Instagram, "Tonight's show is going to be great. Wonder who's going to show up." Eliza knew that was a dig at her. "Bastard." Amber laughed. "I love this game you two play." They arrived at the stadium, where the show would take place, and were escorted directly to the VIP area. Eliza could feel the eyes of some of the fans on her. She couldn't blame them. "If I saw a girl who went viral because of a famous person, I'd be suspicious too." Amber, on the other hand, was over the moon. "I can't believe I'm here." "I can't believe it either, but for different reasons." When the stadium lights went out, the crowd went wild. Oliver stepped onto the stage, and the cheers were deafening. Eliza had never seen anything like it. He grabbed the microphone and smiled at the crowd. "How's everyone doing tonight?" The stadium shook with the screams. Eliza crossed her arms. "Wow, this feels like some kind of summoning ritual." Amber slapped her arm. "Stop being a buzzkill." Oliver started singing, and Eliza had to admit he was good. Amber looked at her with a victorious smile. "You're liking it, huh?" "Liar," Eliza sighed. "Okay, maybe a little." Amber clapped her hands. "Finally, a miracle." But then something unbelievable happened. Oliver finished his song and walked up to the microphone. "I want to thank everyone for being here tonight, but especially..." He looked directly at the VIP section, right at Eliza. Her eyes widened. "No," Amber squealed. Oliver smiled. "I'm sure one certain person has been judging me the whole night." The crowd laughed. Eliza wanted to disappear. Oliver winked. "But it's okay, because now she's officially at one of my shows." The crowd erupted in cheers. Eliza couldn't believe it. She'd become live entertainment, and worse, she knew this was just the beginning. Eliza couldn't believe what was happening. She was there in the VIP area of a packed show, being exposed to thousands of people by an international star who was clearly having fun at her expense. Oliver Blake had made sure to point her out to the crowd. "I'm sure one certain person has been judging me the whole night," and now everyone was looking at her. Oh no. The crowd started screaming and laughing, excited. Amber, beside her, nearly had a happiness meltdown. "He's talking about you." Eliza wanted to disappear from the face of the earth. She looked at Oliver on stage wearing a victorious grin. "This is revenge, isn't it?" she yelled, even though she knew he couldn't hear. Oliver just winked. "Bastard." Amber was holding Eliza's arm, shaking with excitement. "This is the best moment of my life." Eliza, on the other hand, was in full panic mode. "What do I do? Wave? Respond? Do something?" Eliza squinted, took a deep breath, and raised her hand, flipping Oliver off. The stadium exploded with laughter and cheers. Oliver, on stage, burst out laughing. He pointed at her, clearly enjoying himself. "Well, at least she's got personality." The crowd screamed even louder. Amber nearly passed out. "You're a legend." Eliza didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She never, not even in her wildest dreams, imagined she'd be teasing one of the most famous artists in the world in front of thousands of people. But it felt fair. He exposed her. She got back at him. Oliver went back to singing, but every time he passed by the VIP area, he would glance at Eliza with a playful smile. Amber couldn't stop shaking. "Never getting over this." "Great, because I'm never going to another one of his shows." "Liar, you loved it." Eliza rolled her eyes, but she knew Amber was right. She hated admitting it, but it had been fun. After the show, Amber was still on cloud 9 when they were escorted to the special exit. "That was epic. You're going to be in all the news tomorrow." "Exactly what I was trying to avoid." Amber ignored her. "The best part was your gesture. You basically made history." Eliza sighed. "I just want to go home and pretend this never happened." But fate didn't allow it. Before they could reach the exit, a woman in a suit stopped them. "Miss Eliza?" She stopped. "If this is a lawsuit, I deny everything." The woman smiled. "Oliver would like to see you in the dressing room." Amber let out a muffled scream. "What?" Eliza felt her stomach drop. "Now?" "Yes." Amber grabbed her arms. "You have to go." Eliza tried to think of an excuse, but she couldn't come up with one. Sighing, she looked at the assistant. "Fine, let's get this over with." In the dressing room, Eliza walked into the luxurious room. seeing Oliver sitting on the couch drinking water and still sweaty from the show. He smiled when he saw her. "Ah, the star of the night has arrived." Eliza crossed her arms. "If I'm the star, you must be dying of jealousy." Oliver laughed. "You've got guts, I'll give you that." She pointed at him. "That was revenge for the dinner, wasn't it?" "Maybe," Eliza scoffed. "This is harassment." Oliver smiled. "You liked it." "I didn't." "You did." "No, I saw you smile." Eliza opened her mouth to deny, but he wasn't wrong. Oliver raised an eyebrow. "Aha!" Eliza sighed. "Why am I here?" He grabbed a towel and wiped his face. "I wanted to thank you personally." She narrowed her eyes. "Thank me for making this the most talked about show of the year?" Eliza rolled her eyes. "Great, now my life is public entertainment." Oliver smiled. "You're pretty good at it." "I do not want to be good at this." He watched her for a moment, thoughtful. "So," Eliza felt the danger in his voice. "What? What do you think about continuing this nonsense?" She blinked. "What does that mean?" Oliver stood up and crossed his arms. "If the rumors have already started, why not make the most of it?" Eliza's eyes widened. "You want me to keep pretending to be your girlfriend?" "Exactly." Eliza took a step back. "You've lost it." Oliver laughed. "I'm serious." "So am I. You've completely lost it." "Think about it. This could be good for you, too." "How?" Oliver grabbed his phone and showed her a gossip website. "Oliver Blake's mysterious girl has attitude and charisma. Who is she?" Eliza narrowed her eyes. This looks like a trap, or an opportunity. She didn't want to admit it, but it made sense. If her name was going to be everywhere, at least she could have some control over it. But agreeing meant getting even more involved in the chaos. She had to decide. Oliver noticed her hesitation and gave her a sideways smile. "You're thinking about it." "I'm thinking about whether it's worth losing what's left of my sanity." He reached out his hand to her. "So?" Eliza looked at him, at his extended hand, and knew she was about to make the biggest mistake of her life. "I'm such an idiot," and shook his hand. Oliver smiled. "Great choice, princess." Eliza wanted to punch him, but now there was no turning back. The mess was just beginning. Eliza couldn't believe what she had just done. She had shaken Oliver Blake's hand. She had agreed to be part of this madness. What was happening to her life? Oliver smiled victoriously, like he had just sealed a big deal. "So it's official now. You're my fake girlfriend." Eliza regretted it the very second it happened. "I'm so stupid." Oliver leaned against the wall, crossing his arms. "Good to know you admit it." Eliza narrowed her eyes. "So how's this going to work? Is there a contract? A manual? A YouTube tutorial?" He laughed. "We can improvise." Eliza sighed. "Great. A brilliant plan being built on let's see what happens." Oliver shrugged. "If you don't like the idea, you can back out." She hated to admit it, but now she was stuck in this. If she said it was all a lie, the tabloids would freak out. The only way to get out with some dignity was to play along. "Fine. What's the first step?" Oliver grabbed his phone. "We post a picture together." Eliza's eyes went wide. "What?" "Can't pretend to be in a relationship without some proof, right?" Eliza rubbed her face. "You want me to die, don't you?" "Just a little." He opened the camera and moved closer. "Smile." "I'd rather pull out a tooth." Oliver rolled his eyes and pulled Eliza closer. She tried to pull away, but it was too late. The click happened. Done. Eliza wanted to erase that photo from existence. "If I get chased by psycho fans, it's your fault." Oliver just smiled. "Welcome to fame, princess." The next day, boom, the internet world exploded. Eliza and Oliver's photo was everywhere. The comments were wild. "Who is she? What? They look cute together. Sorry, but this girl doesn't look like his girlfriend. Fake. Clearly fake." Eliza just stared at her phone screen in pure panic. Amber, on the other hand, was hysterical. "You've become a global event. Great, now I'm a public farce." Amber ignored it and kept scrolling through the comments. At least some people believe it. Eliza just wanted to dig a hole and disappear. This is going to be a disaster, or it'll be hilarious. Eliza knew it would be both. Then her phone rang. She looked at the screen and froze. It was Oliver. "Pick up already," Amber yelled. Eliza took a deep breath and answered. "What's up?" Oliver's laughter came through the line. "Wow, are you already tired of me? I was born tired of you." "That explains a lot." Eliza rolled her eyes. "We have dinner tonight." "Dinner?" "Yeah, an event. The happy couple needs to show up together." Eliza huffed. You've got to be kidding. I'm serious. I'll send you a dress and pick you up at 8. I'm not your Barbie. But you are my fake girlfriend. Eliza bit her lip to keep from shouting, I hate you. See you at 8, and he hung up. Eliza stared at her phone as if she could burn it with her mind. Amber went wild with excitement. Dinner with Oliver Blake. Yeah, I officially sold my soul. Eliza looked at the dress Oliver had sent. Does this man want me to look like a Disney princess? Amber smiled. Well, you've got to match the handsome prince. Eliza huffed. He's more like annoying frog. But deep down, she knew she was nervous. She had never been to such a fancy event, and now she'd be next to Oliver Blake. What was she thinking? The intercom rang. It's now or never, girl. Eliza sighed. I can still escape through the window. Or you can totally rock it. She huffed, grabbed her purse, and headed out. When she stepped outside, there he was. Oliver was wearing a sharp suit and waiting next to a luxury car. He looked her up and down and smiled. Wow, you almost look like you like me this way. Eliza raised an eyebrow. Watch out, your arrogance is showing. He laughed and opened the car door. Shall we pretend to like each other for a few hours? Eliza rolled her eyes but got in the car. If I survive, I'll let you know. Oliver got in right after. Oh, it's going to be fun. Eliza was sure his definition of fun was very different from hers, but now it was too late to back out. The event was waiting for them, and the chaos was just beginning. Eliza was absolutely certain she was about to step into a horror movie. Sitting in the luxury car next to Oliver, she tried to figure out how her life had turned into this, a dinner with Oliver Blake as his girlfriend. She took a deep breath and crossed her arms. So what exactly do I need to do at this dinner? Oliver smiled. Relax, pretend to like me. Eliza huffed. I'm going to need an Oscar for that. No need to exaggerate. Just smile and look at me like I'm the most amazing guy in the world. She raised an eyebrow. So is this a dinner or a sci-fi play? Oliver, laughing, glanced at her from the corner of his eye. You really can't be nice to me for 5 minutes? I could, but where's the fun in that? He shook his head, amused. Okay, but seriously, this dinner is important. There are businessmen, sponsors, and I need you to act like my girlfriend. Eliza pressed her lips together. Is there a script, or do I improvise? Improvise, but no humiliating me in public. She pretended to think. That really narrows down my options. Oliver laughed again. I'm starting to think you like to mess with me. I just take advantage of the opportunities life gives me. He sighed, shaking his head. This is going to be a long night. The car stopped in front of a fancy restaurant. Paparazzi were already waiting outside. Eliza felt the pressure. Are you sure this is going to work? Oliver opened the door and held out his hand to her. It'll be great. Now pretend you love me. Eliza rolled her eyes but took his hand. As soon as they stepped out of the car, the flashes started. The journalists were shouting questions. Oliver, how did this romance start? Eliza, is it true you've known each other for years? When was the first kiss? Eliza felt completely embarrassed. Oliver just smiled and waved at the photographers, pulling Eliza by the waist and guiding her inside the restaurant. Once they were inside, the noise of the flashes was left behind. Eliza let out a heavy sigh. This is insane. Oliver smiled. Relax, princess. The worst hasn't even started yet. They were guided to a luxurious table where some important people were already sitting. Eliza got even more tense. This looks like a mafia meeting. Oliver held back a laugh. They're businessmen. Same vibe. He introduced her to the group, and everyone was very polite, but the curious glances on her were unavoidable. One of the women sitting at the table smiled kindly. So you're Oliver's new girlfriend? Eliza felt like this was a test. She smiled, picked up her wine glass, and took a sip. Yes, the latest victim. Oliver held his breath, but the group soon laughed. The dinner went on, and Eliza kept a low profile, answering questions with intelligence and just the right amount of sarcasm. Oliver was impressed. She really knew how to improvise. But then disaster struck. A blonde woman entered the restaurant. Oliver became visibly tense. Eliza noticed immediately. Who is she? Oliver didn't answer. The woman stopped in front of the table. Oliver. Her voice was cold. Oliver forced a smile. Evelyn. Eliza stopped breathing. Evelyn. Oliver's ex-girlfriend. She looked like she stepped out of a fashion magazine. Evelyn gave Eliza a long look before speaking. So this is your new girlfriend? The group at the table went silent. Everyone was waiting for an answer. Eliza knew this was one of those decisive moments. She couldn't hesitate, so she smiled. "Nice to meet you, Evelyn. I'd love to say I've heard of you, but Oliver never mentions the past." Oliver tried to hold back a laugh. Evelyn narrowed her eyes. "How funny. It's almost like you've known each other for years." Eliza didn't back down. "Sometimes when the chemistry is strong, time doesn't matter." Oliver almost spit out his wine. Evelyn crossed her arms. "Really?" Eliza leaned back in her chair. "Totally. But you'd know that if you had chemistry with him." The group let out a quiet ooh. Oliver held his breath. Evelyn seemed surprised for a second, but quickly regained her composure. "Interesting. Are you sure you're not just another distraction for him?" Eliza smiled, took Oliver's hand, and intertwined their fingers. "If I am, at least I'm a fun one." Oliver finally decided to step in. "Evelyn, it was nice seeing you, but we're in the middle of dinner." Evelyn gave Eliza one last look, "Have fun," and left. The group started whispering. Oliver let out a heavy sigh. Eliza took a giant sip of wine. "Well, that was fun." Oliver looked at her, impressed. "You're dangerous." She smiled. "You're the one who put me in this game. Now deal with it." Dinner continued, but Eliza knew this wouldn't be over soon, and she was right. When they left the restaurant, the paparazzi were waiting. The questions were even worse, Oliver. Did Evelyn try to reconcile? "Eliza, how do you feel being compared to the ex? Is this a rivalry fight?" Eliza stopped, looked directly at the cameras, and smiled. "Folks, let's focus on the most important part of this story." The journalists leaned in, eager. The food was amazing. Oliver couldn't hold back a laugh. The photographers kept shouting, but Eliza simply got in the car, satisfied with the chaos she'd caused. Oliver got in right after, still laughing. "You're a nightmare for the media." She smiled. "Thanks." He looked at her for a moment, as if trying to figure her out. "You don't get intimidated easily, do you?" Eliza shrugged. "I grew up with two older brothers. This is kid stuff." Oliver smiled, clearly enjoying himself. "I really made a good deal." She raised an eyebrow. "This isn't a deal, Oliver. It's a controlled disaster." He laughed. "Let's see how long we can control it." Eliza knew he was right. This game had just begun and she had no idea how it would end. Eliza got into the car next to Oliver, letting out an exhausted sigh. The dinner had been a real test of patience, but at least she managed to get out alive. She looked at Oliver, who was still smiling to himself, clearly enjoying everything. "What now?" she asked, crossing her arms. Oliver rested his elbow on the seat back and turned his face toward her. "You really aren't afraid of anything, huh?" "I'm afraid of flying cockroaches and overdue bills. Other than that, I'm good." He laughed. "Weren't you a little shaken by Evelyn showing up?" Eliza shrugged. "Why? She doesn't have anything to do with you anymore, right?" Oliver hesitated for a second, then shook his head. "No. Then it's her problem." He kept looking at her like he was trying to figure her out. Eliza didn't like the way Oliver was watching her, like he was trying to discover something even she didn't know about herself. "Why are you staring at me?" she asked, suspicious. "Just trying to understand you. Good luck." "I don't even understand myself that well." Oliver smiled and leaned back in his seat. "You could be an actress. I prefer real life, thanks." The driver started the car, and they began moving through the city's lit streets. Eliza rested her head against the window, feeling the exhaustion finally hit. She was mentally drained from all the acting. "I need a vacation," she muttered. "Oh no, princess. Our show's just getting started." She looked at him incredulous. "What do you mean?" Oliver grabbed his phone and turned the screen toward her. The gossip sites were in total chaos. Oliver Blake and his new girlfriend face Evelyn. The iconic confrontation at Oliver Blake's dinner. Eliza, the mysterious woman, steals the spotlight. Her eyes went wide. "What?" He smiled. "You've become a celebrity, Eliza." She grabbed the phone from his hand and started scrolling through the comments. Some fans loved her. Others hated her. There were crazy theories saying she was a scammer, that it was all publicity, that she had hypnotized Oliver. "Oh my God, people are creative." Oliver laughed. "You haven't seen anything." She threw the phone back at him. "This is a nightmare. This is just the beginning." Eliza felt like banging her head against the car window. How did this spiral out of control so quickly? "It all started because of some damn toilet paper. What did I do to deserve this?" "Oh, several things, but we can start with the fact that you made me look like an idiot in the bathroom." She huffed. "You did that all on your own. And now the world believes we're in love." She rolled her eyes. "The world needs glasses." Oliver laughed and looked out the window, deep in thought. We need to reinforce this story. Eliza frowned. What exactly does that mean? He looked at her with a mischievous smile. We're going to have to spend more time together. She felt a shiver down her spine. I knew I'd regret this. The car stopped in front of Eliza's building. She looked at the entrance, then at Oliver. If anyone asks, we're madly in love, okay? He smiled wildly. She got out of the car and slammed the door before he could say anything else. She went up to her apartment, and when she entered, she found Amber sitting on the couch holding her phone and staring at the screen with wide eyes. You're on TV. Eliza flopped onto the couch, defeated. Let me know when it's time to announce my escape from the country. Amber ignored her and turned up the volume on the screen. A gossip show was showing footage from the dinner. It showed Eliza and Oliver leaving the restaurant together, smiling at each other like the perfect couple. This girl showed up out of nowhere and is now stealing the spotlight. Is this relationship for real? Eliza sighed. People really have nothing better to do. Amber clapped her hands on her lap, excited. I don't know how you can complain. You're living the dream. Eliza flopped back onto the couch. My dream is free coffee. This is a circus. Amber smiled. Well, enjoy the show. Eliza knew Amber was having fun with all of this, but to her, it was an impending disaster. Her phone vibrated. A message from Oliver. Ready for our next date? She closed her eyes. Get me out of this. But it was too late. She was trapped in the most absurd sham of her life. And the worst part? She had a feeling things were going to get even more complicated. Eliza didn't exactly know how her life had gotten so off track. The night before, she had gone to bed, determined to put an end to the farce before her sanity was completely destroyed. The next morning, she woke up to see her name trending. Oliver Blake and his new girlfriend. True love or marketing stunt. Oliver's ex lashes out and throws shade on social media. Fans divided. Is Eliza the hero or the villain in this story? She stared at her phone screen like she'd been hit by a truck. Amber? She murmured. Her friend, sitting at the other end of the couch, was more excited than ever. Oh my God, Eliza, you're in the middle of the biggest romantic scandal of the year. Eliza let out a heavy sigh. This is a nightmare. Amber ignored the drama and kept scrolling through the articles. Have you seen this? Evelyn gave an interview yesterday, saying your relationship with Oliver is suspicious. Eliza's eyes went wide. What? She grabbed her friend's phone and opened the video. Evelyn, sitting in a TV studio, impeccably dressed and with a cold smile on her lips, said, It's none of my business what he does with his life, but knowing Oliver like I do, this story doesn't make sense. He never mentioned this girl before. The host blinked, intrigued. So you think it's a marketing stunt? Evelyn smiled mysteriously. I'm just saying he's never dated anyone without hitting headlines first. Eliza let out a frustrated grunt. This woman has issues. Her phone vibrated in her hand. Message from Oliver. Hope you slept well. Love. We've got an interview today. Eliza felt a headache coming on. Interview? The phone rang. She knew who it was even before answering. What do you want, Oliver? His laughter came through the phone. Wow, great mood for a couple in love. Eliza rolled her eyes. Can you explain this whole interview thing to me? Just a quick thing. We need to calm down the fans. And when did you think of telling me this? Now. She took a deep breath to keep her patience in check. Couldn't you just do nothing? Not when Evelyn is throwing dirt in the media. Eliza grunted. If I punch this woman the next time I see her, will you pay my bail? With pleasure. She sighed. Fine. Where's this interview going to be? I'll send you the address. Oh, and wear something red. Eliza closed her eyes for a second. I'm going to kill you. See you this afternoon, sweetheart. He hung up before she could curse him out. Eliza threw her phone on the couch. I've officially lost control of my life. Amber smiled. But at least you look good in the photos. She almost threw a pillow at her friend. When she got to the interview location, she found Oliver already waiting at the entrance. He was wearing a casual suit and sunglasses, looking like a movie star. Eliza sighed. Great. Here he comes with that amazing look. Oliver smiled. Thanks for the compliment. She crossed her arms. That wasn't a compliment. He reached out his hand to her. Shall we pretend to be in love? Eliza rolled her eyes but took his hand. As soon as they walked into the studio, the flashes started. The interview was being broadcast live. The host greeted them excitedly. It's a pleasure to have the couple of the moment here. Eliza smiled, as if this wasn't a complete absurdity. The pleasure is all ours. Oliver gently squeezed her hand under the table, a reminder that she had to keep up the act. The interviewer smiled. "So Eliza, what's it like dating a music star?" She smiled innocently. "Exhausting." The interviewer laughed, surprised. "Exhausting?" Eliza pretended to think. "Yes, he's demanding, spoiled, and thinks the world revolves around him." Oliver looked at her with fake indignation. "Wow, what a lovely way to describe me." Eliza shrugged. "At least I'm honest." The interviewer smiled. "But you guys seem to have amazing chemistry. How did you meet?" Eliza froze. Oliver jumped in. "Oh, it was kind of unusual," Eliza interrupted him. "He broke into the women's bathroom." The interviewer's eyes went wide. "What?" Oliver let out a nervous laugh. "It wasn't exactly like that." Eliza turned to him with a sarcastic look. "Oh, really? Then how would you explain it?" Oliver took a deep breath. "Look, I just needed some toilet paper." The interviewer covered her mouth, trying not to laugh. "Are you serious?" Eliza nodded. "The great Oliver Blake started talking to me because he was desperate in the bathroom." Oliver rubbed his face. "I should have made up a better story." The studio burst into laughter. The interviewer could barely continue. "Oh my God, this is hilarious." Eliza smiled. "And that's how our story began. A roll of toilet paper brought us together." Oliver shook his head, defeated. "I'm never going to get rid of this story, am I?" Eliza smiled victoriously. "Never." The interviewer was still trying to compose herself when she decided to change the subject. "What about the rumors that your relationship is fake?" Eliza felt Oliver tense up beside her. She kept her composure and simply held his hand. "People will always talk. The important thing is that we know the truth." The interviewer smiled. "So you love each other?" Oliver looked at Eliza, clearly waiting for her to answer. She cupped his face with both hands, staring into his eyes and forcing a dramatic smile. "I love you more than anything, my caramelized coconut sweetheart." Oliver made a face, holding back a laugh. The interviewer burst out laughing. "Well, I guess that answers the question." Oliver cleared his throat and fired back. "And I love you more than my guitar, my little cheese bread stuffed with love." Eliza held herself back from bursting into laughter. "That was so cute, Oliver." He smiled. "I know." The interview continued with more questions, but in the end, everything went well. When they left the studio, Oliver let out a heavy sigh. "I can't believe you did that." Eliza smiled, satisfied. "I did what any girlfriend would do." He laughed. "Your trouble." She winked. "And now I'm your trouble." Oliver shook his head, laughing. "That's true." Eliza knew the lie was just getting bigger, and deep down she wasn't sure if she wanted it to end so soon. Eliza felt like she was entering dangerous territory. Up until now, it had all just been a show, an agreement, an absurdity that for some unknown reason seemed to be working. But something was changing, and the way Oliver looked at her wasn't helping. In the car after the interview, he was quieter than usual. No teasing, no jokes, just staring out the window deep in thought. Eliza had never seen this side of him. "Is everything okay?" she asked, crossing her arms. Oliver turned his face toward her, blinking as if he just returned to reality. "What? You're being so quiet. It's freaking me out." He laughed, shaking his head. "I'm just thinking. That definitely freaks me out even more." Oliver laughed again, but didn't explain. The car continued down the well-lit streets until it stopped in front of Eliza's building. She sighed. "Well, it's been fun being your fake girlfriend, but now I'm going back to my normal life." She reached for the doorknob to get out, but Oliver grabbed her arm. "Wait." Eliza narrowed her eyes. "What's going on?" He scratched the back of his neck, as if trying to find the right words. "I wanted to thank you." She raised an eyebrow. "Are you sick?" Oliver laughed, but he seemed a bit uncomfortable. "I'm serious. You kept this lie better than I expected." Eliza smiled, pretending to be proud. "I'm talented." He took a deep breath. "But you still think this is crazy, right?" She paused for a second. "It was crazy, but now it seemed less insane than it did at the start." Eliza looked at him. "I've accepted that my life turned into a Mexican soap opera." Oliver laughed. "And I'm the leading man?" "No, you're the villain." He smirked. "Good villains are always more interesting." She rolled her eyes. "Okay, can I go now?" Oliver hesitated, then let go of her arm. "Go ahead." Eliza opened the door and left. Before entering the building, she looked back. Oliver was still in the car watching her, and that made her feel strange. She shook her head, pushing the thoughts away, and entered the building. But that night she had trouble sleeping. And the worst part? Oliver did too. The next day, Eliza was having coffee when Amber walked into the kitchen holding her phone with a hysterical expression. "Did you see this?" Eliza raised an eyebrow. "I just woke up. Do you really think I saw anything?" Amber threw the phone in front of her, and there it was, a photo of them. Oliver and Eliza in the car the night before. The detail, him holding her arm, looking at her like it was something more. The caption, what were Oliver Blake and his girlfriend discussing? Love secrets or a breakup? Eliza choked on her coffee. "I can't believe this." Amber clapped her hands excited. "This is going way too far." Eliza held her head. "I need a sedative." The phone vibrated. Message from Oliver. "Did you see the latest gossip?" She rolled her eyes. "Yeah, already prepared my coffin." "Great, but before that, we need to have a real date." Eliza froze. "Sorry, what?" "You heard me. If we don't go out in public, no one's going to believe this anymore." Eliza threw the phone on the couch and looked at Amber. "Oliver wants us to go on a date." Amber screamed. "Oh my God, this is getting real." Eliza grabbed her friend by the shoulders. "Focus. This is still a lie, but you're nervous, because I don't like embarrassing myself." Amber smiled. "Sure, that's the only reason." Eliza huffed. She knew this was just another step in the fake story. But for the first time, she started wondering if she was pretending too well. And the worst part? Oliver was probably thinking the same thing. Hours later, there they were in a park, with an absurd number of paparazzi hiding. Eliza whispered to Oliver, "This is so ridiculous." He smiled, pretending to act natural. "Pretend we're a deeply in love couple." She sighed. "Okay, my sweet condensed milk." Oliver held back a laugh and took her hand. The flashes started. Eliza wanted to dig a hole and disappear. They sat on a bench, and Oliver leaned in toward her, as if sharing a secret. "You having fun?" She smiled, but it was fake. "Like you're in the dentist's waiting room." He laughed. "Relax. Easy for you to say. You were born to be the center of attention." Oliver gave a half smile. "And you were born to annoy me." She winked. "I like to fulfill my purpose." Oliver just laughed, shaking his head. But then something strange happened. He stopped laughing. He stared at her as if he was seeing something he hadn't noticed before. Eliza furrowed her brow. "What's wrong?" Oliver hesitated. "Nothing." She raised an eyebrow. "That didn't look like nothing." He looked away, tapping his foot on the ground. "I just think this is going too far." Eliza held her breath. "Do you want to quit?" Oliver looked at her again, and this time he seemed confused. "I don't know." And for the first time, Eliza didn't know either. This lie had grown into something too big, and now they were both in the middle of it. Eliza never imagined her life would turn into a circus. The problem was, in the middle of all the acting, she no longer knew what was real and what was fake. Oliver seemed lost too. Since the meeting in the park, something had changed. The glances lasted longer. The jokes were more meaningful. The silence between them wasn't awkward. It was comfortable. But Eliza refused to believe it was anything more than a game. Until the day everything changed. It was a cold night. Eliza was sitting on the couch scrolling through the day's news on her phone when she heard a knock at the door. She furrowed her brow. "Amber, if you're here to show me another picture of me online, I'll kick you out." But when she opened the door, it wasn't Amber. It was Oliver, and he was soaked from head to toe. "What the... I walked in the rain," he said, shrugging. Eliza crossed her arms. "Why the hell did you walk in the rain?" "I needed to think." "And does the rain have some special power to help you with that?" Oliver gave a half smile. "You talk too much, and you're dripping all over my door." He took a deep breath, and without warning, cupped her face in his hands. Eliza froze. Oliver kissed her. It was an urgent kiss, like he had been holding it in for too long, like he had finally found the courage. Eliza should have pushed him away, but she didn't. Instead, she kissed him back, and in that moment, she was absolutely sure it wasn't a lie anymore. "Damn," she whispered when the kiss ended. Oliver laughed. "What's wrong?" She rested her forehead against his. "I really like you." He smiled. "Funny, because I like you too." After that, everything changed completely. There was no more effort to act like a couple, because they were one. That kiss that night was just the beginning. Oliver started picking her up from work. Eliza began going to his rehearsals. The laughs were real, the touches were natural, and the kisses? Well, the kisses were getting better and better. It all happened so fast. that by the time Eliza realized she was completely caught up in it, she never wanted to be a fairy tale girl, but suddenly it felt like she was living one. Until the day Oliver did something she never expected. It happened in the most unlikely way possible. Oliver invited her to a romantic dinner. Eliza didn't suspect a thing. She thought it would just be another ordinary night. But then in the middle of the restaurant, in front of dozens of people, he got down on one knee. Eliza almost choked on her wine. "What are you doing?" Oliver smiled. "I think it's pretty obvious." The entire restaurant went silent. Eliza looked around, panicked. "Oliver, if this is another act, I swear it's not," he interrupted her. Her heart raced. Oliver pulled a little box out of his pocket, and when he opened it, it was the most beautiful ring Eliza had ever seen. He held her hand and looked into her eyes. "Eliza, I never planned on falling for you, but it's the best thing that's ever happened to me." Eliza felt her eyes burn. Oliver smiled. "So, will you marry me?" She blinked. "Is this for real?" "More real than anything I've ever done in my life." Eliza held back a laugh and covered her face. "I can't believe this." "I wouldn't believe it either, but it's true." She looked at him again. Oliver was nervous. He might be a global star used to crowds, but at that moment, he was just a guy in love, waiting for the answer from the girl he loved. Eliza took a deep breath, and then she smiled. Yes. The whole restaurant exploded in applause. Oliver stood up and kissed her. And at that moment, Eliza was absolutely sure there was nothing fake about this anymore. The wedding, it was the event of the year. All the gossip sites covered it. The unlikely couple that conquered the world. From lie to real love, the story of Oliver and Eliza. But for them, none of that mattered. What mattered was that moment. Oliver waiting at the altar, Eliza walking in a white dress trying not to trip, his eyes shining when he saw her. And then the vows. "I never knew what luck was until I met you," Oliver said, holding her hand. Eliza smiled. "I never knew what chaos was until I met you." He laughed. "Fair enough." She squeezed his hand. "But I love this chaos. I love you." Oliver smiled. "Then we're screwed, because I love you too." The judge smiled. "So Oliver, do you take Eliza as your wife?" "Absolutely." "And you, Eliza?" She looked at Oliver and her heart raced. "Of course. Then I now pronounce you husband and wife." Oliver pulled her into a kiss, and the whole world erupted in celebration. But for them, there was only each other. The lie turned into reality. And what started with a roll of toilet paper ended with the love of their lives. Because in the end, fate always finds a way to surprise. Eliza and Oliver were living proof of that. Outro narration. What did you think of Eliza and Oliver's story? Leave your opinion in the comments. On a scale from 0 to 10, what rating would you give this story? Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to stay updated on all our stories. And feel free to check out more touching stories by clicking here on the final screen.